Good to have you back. This time we're looking at a very different and a quite disturbing film. It's a dislocating mix of drama and mystery that becomes progressively more discomforting as we follow the main character and, like him, are blindsided on his journey from blissful ignorance to the awful realisation that he's not the widely loved and admired man we thought he was. The film is The Swimmer from 1968. The screenplay was adapted from the John Cheever short story which appeared in The New Yorker in 1964. While only a dozen pages long, it was written from 150 pages of notes as Cheever had originally conceived the story as a full-length novel. Written and directed by Academy Award-nominated husband and wife team of Eleanor and Frank Perry. William Holden was the first choice for the lead of swimmer Ned Merrill, but he turned it down, as did Glenn Ford, Paul Newman and George C. Scott, before Burt Lancaster, who was eager to play the role, was ultimately cast. At the time, Lancaster had a fear of water that stemmed back to his childhood and a near-drowning incident. To prepare for the role, he took swimming lessons from Olympian and UCLA water polo coach Bob Horn, training in the pool at Lancaster's house and the one at UCLA. Lancaster worked out continuously throughout the shoot to maintain a high level of fitness and did numerous push-ups and sit-ups every morning before filming began. He gained 20 pounds of muscle by doing weights, running, karate and aerobics. Although the critical response at the time was mixed, critics were unanimous in the praise of Burt's physique, given that he was 52 years of age at the time of filming. Lancaster called this film Death of a Salesman in Swimming Trunks. In fact, Lancaster's wardrobe for the film only consisted of 17 identical pairs of blue nylon swimmers. The picture was predominantly filmed on location in the US state of Connecticut, utilising 9 backyard pools and 1 public pool. Principal production took place during the summer of 1966, but as a result of the difficulties they faced, the film was not released until 1968. There are 2 interesting cameos in this film. The story's author John Cheever appears uncredited as a man at the pool party, and comedian Joan Rivers appears in her first film role as Joan, another party guest. Her role was added in part because Rivers had been friends with the Perrys. Further evidence of some of the trouble that the shoot got into, Joan Rivers' short scene took 7 days to shoot. According to Rivers, Lancaster and Frank Perry had several confrontations on set. Perry was ultimately fired by producer Sam Spiegel sometime after the first cut of the film was screened. The producers brought in Lancaster's friend Sidney Pollack to salvage the project. Pollack reportedly reshot several transitions and scenes, including redoing the Shirley Abbott scene with Janice Rule now playing the part originally played by Barbara Loden. The additional day of shooting that was needed cost $10,000 and was paid for by Burt Lancaster out of his own pocket. The film's producer Sam Spiegel was a 3-time Academy Award winner for Best Picture, who ultimately removed his name from the film, although the logo of his company, Horizon Pictures, remained. The initial response to the film was lackluster, but the critical response in particular has improved in recent years, with the movie gaining cult film status. Film critic Roger Ebert called The Swimmer a strange, stylised work, a brilliant and disturbing one. Vincent Canby in the New York Times wrote, although literal in style, the film has the shape of an open-ended hallucination. It is a grim, disturbing and sometimes funny view of a very small, very special segment of upper-class American life. Variety said, a lot of people are not going to understand this film. Many will loathe it, others will be more deeply moved. Its detractors will be most vocal, its supporters will not have high-powered counter-arguments. Burt Lancaster always insisted that this was both his best and his favourite film of his career. So as I said, this film ran into a lot of problems during its production, but despite all of that, it's actually a very well-made and interesting film. It was ahead of its time. Despite being dark and disturbing at times, it is a really powerful psychological drama. Now, the central character is very strong and compelling and sympathetic, and that's backed up by a strong performance by Burt Lancaster. The two work really, really well together. Burt in particular is both strong physically and seemingly mentally, but that hides an underlying vulnerability which is, again, very powerful. What's interesting too is the use of the mundane. So all of the action takes place in backyards and in and around swimming pools. And that's where the horror lies. You know, these kind of stories are every day. They're somewhat hidden in the backyard near the pool. And again, that's what makes it compelling, that's what makes it sympathetic, and that's what, again, makes it, you know, a very dark psychological drama. And it's nicely shot with a really interesting colour palette as well. I think you will really like watching this particular film, again, even though it is a very difficult film to watch. So what I'd suggest you do is, go to our website, find our virtual screenings page, find the link to this particular film. Please click on it and watch it. And as always, come back and tell us what you think. I think it's a wonderful film. I think you'll also think it's quite special as well. But either way, let us know what you think. And then we'll be back in the not too distant future with another classic films review. Hope to see you next time.